What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to make $1,000 per month from trading, whether it's Forex or stocks, whatever market you're doing. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the requirements to do that, how you could potentially earn up to $1,000 per month extra from trading, which for a lot of people could be very life-changing. If you had an extra $1,000 to work with in your life, it might make a really big difference for a lot of people out there. I know that, if you had told me that when I was, newer into my career, that would have been a huge boost to, the income that I was making. So I'm going to try and give you guys the best rundown I can on how to earn an extra $1,000 per month from trading. It is not something that is easy. It's not something that, everyone can just pick up and do really quickly. Trading is very difficult, but I'm going to try and give you guys the best picture I can as to how to actually realistically do this. So a couple different things that we need to talk about. We need to talk about strategies. We need to talk about what are realistic trading returns to think about. What are some capital requirements? How much money you need to do, or how much money do you need to actually do this to make $1,000 extra per month? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about risk management. We're going to talk about a realistic approach to doing this longer term. And then also, I do want to remind you guys, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. If you want realistic trading content, that's what I'm here to do. I share my experiences all on YouTube for free. So hit that subscribe button down below and let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is if we're going to make any money in trading, we need to have a thorough strategy. A lot of people are out there trading Forex, trading stocks with no actual strategy other than their gut instinct. And let me just be the first one to say that gut instinct can only take you so far. Sometimes it's fortunate, sometimes it's unfortunate, but just trusting your gut in trading is not a strategy. It's a really dangerous approach that most new traders get into. They just say, hey, this thing looks good for a buy, or this thing looks good to short. And that's not really a strategy. Having a true strategy involves a bunch of different factors. So I'm real quick, I have videos on this you can go check out if you do not have a strategy yet. But this sort of video assumes that you're a little bit past that, you do have a strategy or approach. But here are some of the things that you need to have in a good strategy. You need to know that you have an entry and exit style. Please remember, I've talked about this many times on my channel. If you've seen this, if you've been watching me for a while, obsessing about entries is sort of a dangerous approach. A lot of times people are so into the idea of when to buy, when to sell, all that stuff. But there is more factors to a good, successful trading strategy. You could have great entries all the time and still mess it up with a bad risk management plan or with, poor exit strategies, right? So also having a risk management plan, having risk tolerance identified, and thorough back testing and forward testing before taking a strategy live. All of these concepts you can find on my YouTube channel. You could search up any single one of these and find them on YouTube. You could look up Trader Nick entries, Trader Nick exits, Trader Nick risk management, and there are concepts there for you to check out completely for free. So maybe bookmark those or come back to them after you finish this video. So let's talk about what are good trading returns. Now that you have your strategy or you take the time to backtest and build your strategy, what are good realistic trading returns that we can expect if we have a good solid trading plan? Well, this is subjective, and this topic makes people mad on my channel. This is the number one thing I think that makes people upset in my comment section. I bet you even on this video, if you go down to the comment section, I bet you there's going to be people that are upset about this because I have an opinion and everyone does, and it's very subjective. It's kind of like religion, politics, and they should add on trading returns because everyone seems to get really upset about this. I think it's subjective. I think it's person to person. If you're willing to take higher risk, you could make more money from trading. You could make higher returns, but you're more likely to run into some serious drawdowns or even blow accounts if you're going to be taking those extra risks. On the flip side, if you're looking to take less risk and be more conservative like myself, you're going to experience hopefully smaller drawdowns, but also less trading returns. You're not going to be looking at making huge, massive, flipping the accounts all the time sort of returns. You're going to be looking at smaller gains with less associated risk, which is sort of more up my alley and maybe for some of you guys as well. So like I said, it is subjective. So for me, my opinion is that if you can beat the benchmark, right, the S&P 500, that is fantastic. So if you just bought and held the S&P 500 for years and years and years, if you can do better than that in your trading by actively trading and investing, actively trading or investing, if you can be in and out of markets and actually performing better than just holding on to this thing, then you're doing really, really good. because in the last 100 years or so, this is like the #1 performing asset out there in terms of markets, big financial markets like the stock market, et cetera. This thing has been a dramatic, uptrend overall. So if you're able to outperform that, meaning that, usually it performs 10%, 8 to 10% per year. If you can get better returns than 8 to 10% per year, you are doing very good by many, many standards in terms of investing and trading. You might say, well, Nick, trading and investing are different. But truthfully, most traders lose money. In fact, most traders that are profitable, though, still struggle to beat this benchmark. It sounds weird to new traders because people think, oh, it's easy to make 50%, 100% if you're good at trading. But you have to account for drawdowns. You have to account for losing streaks. And when everything comes to play, if you're able to get more than 10% and beat the S&P 500, you are considered by many, many people to be an incredible investor. Most hedge funds, for example, the most professional traders out there, PhDs, geniuses, the highest quant traders, they struggle to beat the benchmark. So if you're beating the benchmark, in my book, you're doing very well for yourself. So let's talk about some capital requirements because, if you're going to make $1,000 per month, that's sort of the idea of this video. What do you have to have in the bank? What do you have to have in your trading account? And what sort of returns do you need to produce in order to actually make those sort of gains? Well, there's the old adage that it takes money to make money, and in trading, it is no different. It is very, very relevant how much money you are actually bringing to the table to talk about how much you can actually make. Now, these numbers, I know that they are big on the left side for some of you guys in different parts of the world. If you're not in a first world country, this is going to be different for different people around the world, right? If you are in the U.S., $10,000 is a good bit of money. If you are in somewhere that has, a much more hurt economy, $10,000 is an amazing, incredible amount of money. So it's very dependent, again, kind of subjective, but I'm giving you numbers that are sort of realistic on a USA citizen perspective. And I know that's a little bit, personal or self-absorbed, but it's what I understand. It's what I know because I'm from the US. So these are numbers that sort of make sense to me. So let's say that you had an initial investment of 10,000 or 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000. It is going to make a difference, and it's going to make it harder or easier for you to hit that $1,000 per month mark. If you are a very, very seasoned trader, you know your stuff in and out, you know markets, you know fundamental analysis, sentiment analysis, technical analysis, you know everything through and through, you may be able to produce higher returns. If you are a new trader and you're just trying to get to a point where you're profitable, your expected returns are probably going to be less. In fact, most traders who get involved in this stuff, they don't actually make any returns. They lose their money, right? So we want to get profitable first of all, but assuming that we are, let's look at some numbers. $10,000 invested. If you wanted to make $1,000 per month, which is $12,000 per year, assuming that there's no compounding or reinvesting, because I know the math is off if you're reinvesting those gains, right? It becomes easier because, again, the more money you have in the bank, the easier it is to make more money, right, with trading, theoretically. $10,000 invested. To actually make $1,000 per month, you need a 10% return per month. That is incredibly difficult. I don't care what people say, in the comment section. I will get people who say, Nick, 10% a month is easy. But let me tell you, I've been doing this for a long time. I've met thousands of traders. I have talked to and worked with so many different people from around the world. And I've never seen somebody who can produce for me a track record through like myfxbook.com or one of a third-party site that can show for a long extended period of time, talking like years, maybe 2 to 3 years, of 10% per month on average gains. I've never seen it, right? So it's very hard because you're talking about, this is a 10% per month on average, right? You might have months where you make 10, you might have months where you make 2, you might have months where you make 5, you might have -5, right? So to make a 10% average return is incredible per month. So again, this would be very, very difficult, this first category. But I guess, supposedly it is possible if you're like one of the best traders in the world. Maybe you could take $10,000 and make $1,000 per month from that. Which, is not a lot of money, and I understand that. We're gonna talk all about this. Again, trading returns are a sensitive topic. People get mad about it. People get upset about it. But I'm just sharing my honest opinion about this topic, and if you really do want to make $1,000 per month, it gets easier as we go down the line. So check this out. $20,000. If you have $20,000 in your trading account, if you make 5% per month, which is doable, very difficult, but doable. If you're able to produce 5% on average per month, not just 1 month, but on average every single month overall, you're talking about 5% to make $1,000 per month. That's a good extra income on your $20,000, which in the United States, if you work your job, if you save up, if you work very diligently, that is an achievable account size that could be worked into. And then again, it gets easier down the line. So again, our goal on the right side is staying the same. We're still just trying to go for $1,000 per month. But now if you up it to $50,000, it gets a lot easier, right? And this is the thing about trading that's kind of intriguing, is a lot of times people want to take a small amount of money and do the impossible. They want to take $500 and turn it into $10,000 very easily, and they don't want to take a lot of risk to do it. And that's sort of like asking a lot for the markets. But as you get lower here on the list, you got $50,000 to make 2% per month is all you need to make $1,000 extra income. It's pretty good, right? That's 24% per year. This is way better than the benchmark. This is way better than most investments out there, right? It's very, very difficult to capture a 24% per year investment or trade. And remember, when I'm talking about trading sort of is an asset. It is sort of a approach to investing itself, right? By creating a trading account and trading it actively, it is still an investment. Even though, yes, you are trading is an investment. Investing is not necessarily trading, right? Does that make sense? Anyways, next, it gets even easier. Talk about $100,000 in a trading account. I know that's a lot of money, so we're going to talk about this in a moment, but 1% per month is all that's needed to make $1,000 extra on your income. So obviously what you can see is that it is getting a lot easier as we get further down the line. $500,000 is a huge trading account. For most people, this is like a lifelong goal to get that much money in a trading account, but it is possible with time. And so let's say that you get to that point. To make $1,000 per month, in this case, all you got to do is do 0.5% per month, which is a fairly, I'm not going to say easy, because all trading is, requires a lot of work, but it's an achievable approach to markets. So again, easier it gets with bigger capital to make money. Obviously, we probably all know that by now, but let's keep going, because there's some more numbers I want to talk to you guys about. Let's bring it down to a little bit smaller. Let's say that, now I just wanted to show you guys some numbers. Now that we've talked about the $1,000, right? We talked about that target of $1,000 a month. I'm going to say that under $10,000, it is nearly impossible to do that consistently to make $1,000 per month. But at $10,000, you're stretching it. It's very, very difficult. But I suppose it would be possible if you're an incredible trader, much better than myself. Because I could not do this. So this first category, I could not do this, right? I could not do this. I don't think I could do this either, right? I think this is where I'd more shine, right? So that's more realistic to me. So we'll keep going. And that's just me being honest. I'm not the best trader in the world. Maybe you're better than me. But I'm just sharing what I have to offer here in terms of my honest opinions about this stuff. So let's talk about more capital requirements. Let's say that you decide you like that middle category like myself. You like that 2% per month, 24% per year, yearly sort of return. If you're looking at a different account size, I just wanted to put this in perspective. If you're working with $5,000 in a trading account, right, you're able to make $100 on that 2% per month, or $1,200 for the year. I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money, especially in the US. It doesn't sound like that much money to make for an entire year, but I want to also open you guys' ideas up to the longer term. We're going to talk about that in a moment. I just want to show you some more numbers before we discuss this as a long-term vision. $10,000 in an account makes 2%, turns into $200 a month extra, and 24% per year would create $2,400 on a $10,000 investment. 25,000, you can see it kind of just goes along. And then once you get up to 100,000, 2% gain per month doesn't sound like a lot on a very small account, but at 100,000, you're talking about an extra $2,000 per month. that's for a lot of people, that's like a decent chunk of their salary, right? So that's a good extra income just from having their money invested and compounding and growing it over time, which is something we're not even discussing. The most powerful thing, in my opinion, with money is to compound and reinvest it. So if you make gains, you put them back in and you look to grow it from there even further. Let's move along here. Here's if the same capital invested, if you were able to do 4%, a little bit, 4% consistently. Please remember, I'm not saying 4% per month is like an ungodly amount to make. Like 4% per month, I've had many times where I make 4% a month. What I'm talking about is an average aggregate sort of overall, on average, how much money do you make per month? Negative 2% here, 8% here, 4% here. If you can hit an average of 4% per month, I would say you're doing very, very well. You're talking about a 48% year. And so now you can see the numbers here. So you can kind of, wherever you're at, if you're talking about a $25,000 account, $12,000 extra of income from that size of an account seems pretty dang good. If you were able to hit these numbers, like I said, I'd be very, very impressed. But people do it. So it's possible. Now let's look at, here's some of the difference, right? Now you're talking about different account sizes, 2% on some of these accounts. Look at the numbers here. This is pretty incredible. If you had 50,000 and you made 2%, you're talking about $1,000 extra per month. If you get up to, 250,000, it makes a big difference, $5,000 a month. That's a huge chunk of money per month just from trading, right? And then if you get up to, the holy amount of money, the $1 million mark, if you ever hit $1 million at the seven-figure club, if you will, that's $20,000 extra per month. And this is where, the true reality of trading sets in, as you realize that, the real traders out there, they are managing large amounts of money, whether it be theirs or investor money. They are managing large amounts of money to make money, and they're going for small percentages on large amounts of money. That is the key, in my opinion, to using the markets to your advantage. Is not to try and double your, $500 account. It's to build up money on a $500,000 account. And there are ways to do that. I will pause and just say, like, some people, they will be able to get their hands on large amounts of capital through prop funds or different different places where they can get their hands on money and trade other investor money, right? That is something. There are prop firms out there that you can check out and consider if you'd like to go down that avenue. But right now I'm just talking about just the math, just the numbers here on some of the different trading returns that are possible with different amounts of money. Here you can see, look at this, $1 million in this case, if you were to make 48% in a year, would be almost $500,000 for 1 year of trading. That's not bad, right? Actually, that's incredible. If you're going to make, even if you had 50,000, if you worked up to 50,000, which might be a goal for somebody, 4% per month, a pretty great return, makes $2,000 extra per month. Like I said, that's a good number on top of your income that you may have from a job, etc. But what you'll see here is that it's very difficult to hit that target of trading for a living. Trading for a living requires a lot of capital, it requires a lot of skill, and it requires a true discipline, because if all you're doing is trading, it's a lot, right? So it's a lot on your psychological side. Okay, so if you've made it this far in the video, I know a lot of people have clicked off by now. If you've made it to the end here, or not to the end, but to this far in the video, I just want to say, first of all, like, this is possible. This is not an impossible feat. I know, looking at these numbers, I personally, when I looked at this stuff, when I was first getting into trading, when I started looking at the math and starting, I wanted to be a full-time trader. So I saw this stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, this is near impossible for me to ever trade for a living. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow at first, because I know that not everyone, like it says there, I know that not everyone has $500,000 sitting around to trade, right? And that's a long-term goal, but someday you might, right? And here in the US, if you save up, if you're super diligent and you're, reinvesting your gains, etc., maybe someday you can work up to that amount of money in a trading account. And you'll need the skills once you get there to actually make money off of that, right? We're assuming that you can make these returns, but these returns are not easy to do long term. And so in the meantime, you've got some work ahead of you. If you want to do this, if you're serious about this, if you're like me and you plan to do this for the next 40 years, right? You've got to have the skills to pay the bills, right? So it's something that you can work your way into. You don't have a lot of trading capital now, but that's okay. What's the rush, right? continue to build trading accounts, continue to, work your job and use that money to your advantage. Find something that you enjoy doing as a career so that you can fund trading accounts, and maybe someday you can retire early. Maybe someday you can look at this as a, hey, now I can trade because I've built up this trading capital year over year for a long time, and use time to your advantage, right? Trading is not a short-term freedom pass, but it can be a long-term one that makes a lot of sense. Same with investing, right? Both have the capability to, over time, add income to your bottom line, and maybe even someday replace your main source of income, being that job or whatever you do for money. Trading is a long-term journey. Nobody wants to hear that. Everyone wants that short-term coolness factor of making lots of money. But the reality is that people who really do make money, they are in this for the long term. They're looking to grow accounts slow and steady and doing this stuff right. So how can you get there? Well, like I mentioned, you may not have the money today, but you can continue to improve your skills and learn this for the long term. I think if you guys made it to this far in the video, like I said, I think that you're already sort of aware of this. You're aware of the fact that this is a long-term goal. This is a skill set that you're building for a long period of time. And I just would encourage you, don't look at trading as an income source right now if you don't have large amounts of capital. Look at it as a skill that you are building for your own future, right? When your trading account long-term grows and grows and grows, then your returns will be much more meaningful than they are today if you stick to the plan and you do this consistently. So, let me just tell you, we'll end this video with something really, really interesting that happened to me when I first got started trading. So when I first got started trading, I was introduced to all different things. I started out in stocks and investing in stocks, and slowly got into trading stocks, and then eventually went to Forex when someone introduced me to it on Instagram. They had me join their Telegram channel, and I chatted back and forth with them. And I do remember that this guy was telling me that he asked how much money I was working with, how much money was I trading with. I told him $500 is what I've got. And he said, oh, no problem. With $500, you can work your way up to, making an extra $1,000 a month. And that's why I made this video, truthfully, is it's kind of like a sort of a full circle for me. This guy told me that with my $500, I could make $1,000 per month off of that, and quickly, quit my jobs, quit my school, all that stuff to make money trading. And come to find out, he was trying to sell me this expensive course, his $1,000 course. So his idea was, to tell people that they're going to make a lot of money in the short term, because he knows that is a great sales point for him selling his course. I don't sell a course here, and the reason I've made this video today is because I want to go, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, that's all BS. That's not how trading works. Real successful traders are not trying to double accounts quickly. They're trying to build and compound large amounts of wealth. And, just going back full circle, like I said, to be able to say that to myself back then, I would have just said, hey, listen, wake up for a second. I would have shook myself and been like, does that sound realistic? Where in the world does that sound like you can take a little bit of money and just quickly get rich off of it, right? It's just not how it works. And I hope that this video was helpful. Like I said, if you made it to the very end, thank you very much. Do me a favor, if you made it to the end, comment down below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the chat or in the comment section. Just say you made it to the end of the video. It would be awesome to see some of you guys. I'll try and leave a heart on your comment. So with that said, you guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like I said, hit that like button, and we'll see you back in the next video.